When I was told I would be reviewing a pair of speakers from Kanto, I thought they were from a new company because I've never heard of Kanto before. So imagine my surprise when I found out that they have been producing audio equipment since 2007. This Canadian company started out as an OEM for audio components before transitioning into producing their own audio equipments. What we have here today is Kanto's flagship speakers, the TUK.
In 3, 2, 1.
So, what is the Kanto TUK? Well, it's a powered speaker which to the uninitiated means it's an all-in-one solution. Sound, amplification and source input are neatly packaged into the left channel speaker. By comparison, in a passive speaker system, you will need a separate amplifier, preamplifier or an integrated amplifier to run the speaker system. This not only adds complexity but additional wiring and components. Since I've never listened to speakers from Kanto, I wanted to start this review with their audio performance. Despite having a compact form factor, the Kanto TUK manages to produce a wide soundstage and a big sound. If I was listening to these speakers blindfolded, I would have guessed that the sound was being produced by a bigger set of speakers. They can also produce a phantom center for vocals without the need to mess with the positioning too much. Kanto designed the speakers to be used for movies, gaming and music, so that's exactly what I did. We'll start with video and gaming because I think this is where the Kanto TUK excels. I was impressed with the clarity in the details produced by this pair of speakers. You can identify the type of surface the character is walking on, clothes brushing against surfaces, a belt rubbing against pants, and glass shattering were pronounced. These were the details I heard while playing Spider-Man on my PlayStation 4 and watching John Wick on Netflix. Especially with Spider-Man on PlayStation 4, I never knew all these subtle sounds existed when I played the game on a Samsung HW K150 soundbar. Vocals was another area where the TUK shined, as it was really clear to the point where I didn't need a subtitle. This is because the Kanto TUK uses a 5.25-inch aluminium woofer and an air motion transformer tweeter, which is uncommon for a pair of speakers in this class. Unlike a dome tweeter, which uses a moving coil, an AMT tweeter uses a folded membrane with an electrical circuit. Think of it like an accordion. When an electrical current is passed through the membrane, it contracts and relaxes, which pushes the air. Moreover, the membrane can move rapidly given the short gap between being open and folded. The result is a detailed high-frequency range. That said, the TUK had to make sacrifices elsewhere to produce clear vocals and detailed clarity. As such, the background music or score is lowered and the sounds of big explosion feel like they're at the same levels as the vocals. Now, without a proper multi-channel system, this is bound to happen. Which is why I prefer how my Parasound New Classic 200 integrated amplifier prioritizes the music, ambient sounds and loud explosions, which are the essence of any action movie, by slightly sacrificing the vocal clarity and detail quality. If you're planning on consuming action-heavy content like I did, you might want to invest in a subwoofer. Now, the Kanto TUK does have good bass performance, but given its compact size, it just cannot produce the rumbles of the low frequency. Conveniently, we were provided with the 1,550 ringgit Kanto Sub 8, an 8-inch subwoofer, but the Kanto TUK will work with any third-party subwoofers as well. With a subwoofer, landing a hit on an enemy in Spider-Man or a gun being fired in John Wick carried weight with a deep thud. One neat trick that the Kanto TUK has is active crossover, which can digitally filter frequencies below 80 Hz and channel them directly to the subwoofer. Bass frequencies take up a lot of energy, so this will free up the main speakers to handle the other frequency range. The difference is noticeable with this feature turned on, but you can disable it should you choose. With this feature being on the TUK instead of the Sub 8, it means the feature will work on any subwoofer from the likes of Yamaha, Sony, Klipsch or Polk Audio. Overall, I enjoyed watching movies and gaming on the TUK as I discovered sounds that went undetected on my setup. However, the good clarity and detailed tuning that made it sound nice for movies and gaming actually affected its music performance. For this part of the review, I removed the subwoofer and hooked up my Bluesound Note 2i music streamer via optical port. I did that because I wanted to hear how the built-in DAC of the Kanto TUK handled music. Playing Billy Ocean's Caribbean Queen, a song that I've heard on repeat since I was born, sounded new, but I didn't particularly enjoy it. Firstly, Billy Ocean's voice was clear and I could make out every word that he was singing. The bass was pronounced and tight, but a little overpowering for my taste. But what put me off was the TUK doing its thing of moving vocals and bass forward while pushing music to the background. This is an upbeat song, so I would like to hear the music encompass the vocal track to get the full feel of the song. Because of this, the music in the mid-frequency became tricky to make out. Now, I'm not saying they were muddy or they weren't there, but they were just difficult to hear over the vocals and bass. It's not until I heard Sia's Thundercloud and Kenny G's rendition of My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion that I found out that the sound signature of the TUK was just not for me. The speakers had a tendency to overemphasize the treble, making the high frequencies a bit of a mess. But more than that, the high notes produced were piercing to my ears. Maybe that's because I'm more accustomed to the warmer sound signature of my Bowers & Wilkins and Bose speakers. Therefore, more vocal-heavy tracks like Yuna's Crush are a better suit for the Kanto TUK. The TUK's sound signature comes from its built-in digital to analog converter or DAC, which is utilized when you connect a digital signal like the optical input. I did switch it over to analog via RCA and utilized the DAC of my music streamer to find out if that made a difference. The answer is yes, but to a certain degree. The volume of the music in the mid-frequencies was now louder, but the emphasis was still on the vocals. As for its treble-loving sound signature, well, it was still there. Kanto does provide an option to adjust bass and treble on the TUK, but I couldn't find the right treble level for a good listening experience. But maybe you can. What you won't be able to do is know what level your treble is set to, because there is no visual indicators. I had to look up online to find out that you can increase or decrease the bass and treble by 6 steps. There is no visual indicator for the volume level, nor does the volume dial have a minimum or maximum stops. It just spins infinitely. While we're on the subject of usability, the Kanto TUK has a cool feature where it can swap its left and right channels. This comes in handy as the power input is only on one speaker, which is by default the left channel speaker. So, if your power socket is on the right side of the room, you can just swap the channel and put that speaker on the right side. This provides you with a better flexibility when it comes to cable management. I have not seen this feature on another powered speaker before. Although I would say that usability is one of the strengths of the Kanto TUK, it has one fatal flaw. The settings for the speakers reset every time you turn off the power switch. So, if you're like me and you turn off the power for your electronic devices, you should know that the setting for the channel swap and active crossover will be reset. Having to reconfigure your settings each time you turn on the speakers might get annoying quick. So, the only solution is to leave the speakers in standby mode. If you can live with those annoyances, there's no denying how handsome the Kanto TUK is. It packs all these features and hardware while retaining a clean and understated design. There are two colors to choose from. This gorgeous matte white with a grey magnetic grille that we got, or another matte black with a matching magnetic grille. It's worth mentioning its compact form factor as well, measuring 17.68 cm in width, 21.5 cm in depth, and 27.6 cm in height, and weighing around 5 kilograms. It will definitely blend in with a wide variety of home setups. Kanto also provides every accessory you need to get up and running. Well, almost everything. In the box, you will find a remote control with included batteries, an IEC power cord, speaker wires that terminate with banana plugs, 3.5mm to RCA cable, 3.5mm to 3.5mm cable, USB-A to USB-B cable, some rubber feet, and the manual. Despite that, there is no RCA to RCA cable or a Toslink aka optical cable provided, which you will need if you're planning on hooking up these speakers to a TV. That said, it's rare to find such a comprehensive list of accessories provided with a comparable speaker system at this price point. On that note, the asking price for the TUK is 3,800 ringgit, which might be hard to justify based on the sound quality alone. But you need to bear in mind that the price also includes more than just the speakers. For starters, there is a 130 watt Class D amplifier providing 65 watts of powers into each channel. The TUK also acts as a preamplifier with its variety of connectivity options. So, we're talking USB-B for connecting a PC, optical, phono stage, RCA, subwoofer out, USB-A power output for hooking up a Google Home Mini, Bluetooth 4.2 with Qualcomm aptX HD, and a binding post to send power to the passive right channel speaker. There's also a 3.5mm jack with an integrated headphone amplifier on the front, so there's no shortage of choices. So, if you're looking for a hassle-free experience of getting hi-fi audio, these speakers can offer that. Just don't expect these stands to be included in the price. Those are an additional 560 ringgit. But what if you don't need all those spots and are just looking for a good PC speaker? Is there something that can give me more value for my money? Well, I personally use a Bose Companion 50 sound system with my desktop computer. For 1,889 ringgit, the system includes 2 speakers, 1 subwoofer, and 1 3.5mm port. At the moment, I have it connected to the line-out port of my PC motherboard. And even if I invested in a decent DAC like the i5 Zen DAC Signature V2, I would still spend less than the price of the Kanto TUK. They produce a big sound with none of the harshness of the TUK, which makes them great for movies and gaming. However, you do sacrifice on sound staging, and they have a more industrial look to them, which might not fit everyone's setup or taste. But if the TUK's connection flexibility, wide soundstage with a room-filling sound, and beautiful looks are more of what you're looking for, then I guess it's worth the extra cost. You can head on over to the showroom, the address will be in the description, and have a listen to what your favorite videos and music sound like on the Kanto TUK. If you did, let me know what you thought of the Kanto TUK and whether you liked how they sounded in the comments below. While you're down there, let me know if there's something specific you want me to test in future speaker reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Duke and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!